One of the community members, Product Bob, awesome name by the way, Product Bob is asking actually, is it really necessary to be a specialist in an industry with a portfolio to back it up? For example, a product designer who only works for crypto-based product and has only crypto-related case studies on his portfolio. To answer shortly, and as per usual with UX, it depends. But what I always recommend is to always work backwards from the desired outcome. In my book, let's say, again, I asked everyone to ideate on their future, try to understand the signals and emerging tech in terms of geopolitical and social economical developments, exactly understand where do you want to get to. And, you know, if you're an entry designer, sure enough, it might be too early even think about if you're still gathering the skills, but eventually you're going to end up somewhere. So you might want to think exactly where you want to end up. Product Bob, let's say, is questioning if, let's say, maybe his portfolio, which has only crypto case studies, would be good enough for any other field. Short answer, not really, because any other field might want tailored or very relevant experience and very relevant case studies. Because if I would be hiring for something like transport or some sort of customer experience website redesign, but all you have is trading and crypto and all of it is just mobile apps, let's say with decentralized exchanges, that might fall short because a candidate which has that commercial website experience would naturally be shortlisted because they would be easier to become effective immediately. That's that almost like getting that experience without having the industry experience, where if you tailor your projects in the industry you want to work for, chances are you're definitely gonna get ahead than someone who has case studies which are unrelated. And having said that about UX, the process is always gonna trump the actual, case studies. Again, outcomes matter, your learnings matter, what you're gonna specialize or care or focus about is also gonna matter. Let's say if you have some sort of medical or healthcare case studies and you're gonna apply for NHS, they're definitely gonna favor you as long as that work is good enough and it's at the right depth and it showcases the right skills. For example, if you're hiring, user researcher, but you've done some UI design and want to transition into user research, maybe some other case studies can chip in and cover user research, but your interest in NHS could actually favor you. I've seen a lot of brands, and when I, let's say, consult or give advisory work to startups and developing companies, when they try to establish their design capabilities and they need advice and you need exactly help to set it up, then the actual logo shows up, let's say, or some sort of competitor's logo shows up in the case studies. Even if it's conceptual work, they would almost like zero in and focusing a lot of that because there is a bit of human bias. You as a UX designer can kind of like notice it and prevent yourself and pull back and make better decisions. Let's say what UX hiring manager should do anyways. But the hiring manager who's, let's say, coming from product and or marketing or not aware of like the human psychology and the limiting factors in human psychology of the cognitive biases, let's say, they might not, and they might favor that specific tailored application for that specific brand or that company. So there is that also to consider, because you work with the humans, you need to understand exactly what they focus on or zero in. For me, if I'm, UX hiring manager and I'm looking for a candidate, what my bias is really that it's true user centricity. It's putting user first and trying to do a bit of change management. It's trying to run maybe it through double diamond or design thinking. User research is paramount if it's a UX role. If it's product design or UI role, of course, pixel perfection is going to be the bias. A lot of factors, of course. This is not to say it's limited to that, but you get the point. And on that note, what I would advise everyone to do, surprise, surprise, is to design your career, design your life going forward. Take a double diamond, apply the divergent, convergent approaches in thinking, because you start from one point and then you're gonna need to explore a lot of different industries, a lot of different channels. And when I say industries, it could be healthcare, crypto, social media, commerce, yada, yada, yada. So many different ways to skin the cat, right? Same for channels. Maybe it's mobile app, maybe it's just a research study, maybe it's a service design, maybe it's a desktop website, maybe it's an enterprise tool. Like, it has to branch out. You need to create enough of information and evidence that you can do the job throughout your career. It could be that you're gonna capture all of that through, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Maybe in the first year, you're just gonna bounce left and right, trying to capture as much of evidence so that you can take a case study and bring it to a hiring manager and say, hey, I have something relevant, hire me. If you're just starting off, not limiting yourself just to crypto. However, if you're that driven and you know that you want so badly your first or second or third role to be in crypto, or eventually end up in crypto, go ahead, go nuts, go fully immersed of it. Like, full immersion is so underappreciated in everything we do as UX designers that, you know, it's kind of scary when you meet a sharp person who's truly specialized at something and they know it, every single aspect of that. So they're immediately hireable as long as we do, again, UX process. But it's up to you to decide that. If you're just starting out, I would advise you, if you don't have a kind of like a passion angle to it or some sort of emerging tech you want to join, just think about what else you could do. Think about maybe you do need to explore and find your angle, your niche. I've seen a lot of people who are, let's say, specialized on medical. Rarely do they start with medical experiences. They still collect that evidence. Let's say if you would plan to, I don't know, run your own agency or be a contractor instead of being an employee, naturally you're gonna have to get the breadth as much as the depth. You're just gonna unavoidably have to do a lot of freelancing and a lot of contracts, which might be piecemeal of work, but when getting so much industry experience that the next opportunity comes, you can just pull it out and say, hey, I've been there, I've done it, maybe for your competitor or for you in the past. Hire me for this piece of work. And talking about the actual employment, or if you're going to join a firm as a permanent, which, you know, you might need to anyways in the beginning of a career, so you can learn and build up that skill set before you can actually freelance or contract. There is a lot of people who are going to make a career and just stick around for 25 years or 20 years in an existing company. But those days for the mass, for the new generations, is over. I feel like people join companies for maybe 2, 3 years, 5 years on average, and then kind of look for other pastures. If you think about it that way, if you think about it that you're going to join a new company just for a couple of years or a few years, then inevitably you're going to branch out. Inevitably you're going to collect a lot of evidence. Even if it's 10, 20 years, you're going to need to branch and merge and learn new skills. And even if Product Bob is going to go with crypto, let's say, and wants just to do crypto, I can guarantee that in the next decade, he's going to be working on something else. The emerging tech is just accelerating, and the keywords change. The industry sort of remain the same. Channels just merge into new technologies. There is a lot of convergence as per usual. But because of that velocity, the automation, the new ways to do things like quantum computing and the fastness of processing is just going to escalate. So I wouldn't even get bogged down thinking about like specialties for more than, you know, a few years at that. And of course, what do I know? Maybe you're gonna get hooked and that's gonna become your area of expertise. If you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so. There's also membership, by the way. I'm thanking some people here and there in videos, but membership gives you a bit more visibility through behind the scenes for, let's say, my studio setups and things of that nature, but also almost shortlists you if you want me to create some sort of videos. And on that note, I'll see you next time.